Hi guys. Thought I'd do another impromptu live. Again, just it's easier for me to update everyone on all the goings on at the shelter if I do it on a live versus if I'm trying to do it in a series of short videos and messages. Um, we had we had another like wind event last night, and feeling super grateful that there was no damage. But we did have a dog that got attacked as a result, just because all the dogs were stressed out. But yeah, no damage to our infrastructure or anything from last night's storm, so that's really good. Um, what else? Oh, the guys managed to finish the feeding kennels in section 5. So I'll try and get some video together to put on as stories to show you guys the dogs in their new environment. The inside of the shelter is actually feeling a lot bigger now that we've got it split off appropriately. And all of that welding work was underway before we had the tornado here. Um, an update on the shades. So the welding should start on the shades today. I believe that they're going to split the welding teams up, 2 finishing the inside kennels and then 2 starting on the shades outside. We had a pretty massive fight last week, which when I replayed it on the CCTV kind of made me feel sick. I went outside to go look for a dog that we hadn't seen in a while. Hi, Meryl. Nice to see you too. Doing better today. I'm doing all right. But so last week I went outside, I think it was Thursday, and because there's no shades in the driveway, like all of the dogs have pressed in on the gate of the shelter where there's 2 pools that still do have shade over them, but they are right outside of our gate. So instead of having 500 dogs all spread out over a huge area with 20 30 here, 20 30 there, no, we've got like nearly 100 outside of the gate. And I went outside just to look for Letty to see how she was doing, to where I could update, give an update on her. And one of the dogs walks up to me, Sybil, this like little medium-sized dog, and I reached down to pluck some like stuff that was stuck in her fur, and then all of a sudden all the dogs were on her, and we ended up having a massive fight amongst like 40 dogs. With me screaming on the radio, trying, nothing in my hands, trying to break it up. And all of that comes down to the missing shades. So when we don't have enough shade and adequate resources spread out, all the dogs converge, and then we end up with really bad fights. Because you can only have so many living things vying for materials, for water, shade, the basic necessities of life out here without it causing fights. What else do we have going on? I think we're still, on My Giving Circle, I think we're still number 1. So thank you so much for you guys for all of your votes and donations and sharing and all of that. That still could and probably will change at some point. A lot of groups vying for that money. But yeah, we've managed to hold number 1 for a little while, and that's all because of you guys. Thank you. Also, I think I updated on the last live, but I'll talk about it again. We did pretty good on the fundraising for the shelter damage stuff. I believe enough to buy the materials. So yeah, the welding should commence today, and I'm hoping that by the end of this week that we have our shades back up. Just depends on how hard the guys push themselves. Sorry about the fly that keeps landing on the bill of my hat. Just depends on how hard the staff are willing to push themselves, and I'm not going to set times for them because it's blazing hot out here, and I don't want them hurting themselves trying to get it assembled. But so yeah, we're making some progress on that. What else? Oh, if anybody's looking to adopt a couple of cats, Marmalade and Noir are scheduled to come to the UK, I believe, in July. So they're looking for fosters or forever homes. They can go to separate homes, but ideally I'd love for them to go to a home together because they are very bonded. And they're also missing opposite arms, so when you hold them together, they make a whole cat, which is amusing to me endlessly. And I think that they would do fine in a home together. So yeah, if you're looking to adopt a cat, go to our adoptions page on our website, www.warpaws.org, and fill out an application, or reach out to us through private message if you need some help navigating our website. So yeah, those two are looking for a home. And then we've also got a bunch of dogs, some of which are in the office with me right now, that are looking for homes. So there's always dogs, not this one, this old lady's staying with us forever, but Gara's looking for a home, Billy's looking for a home. We've got a lot of dogs that need homes to go to, and we can't even start fundraising for their flights until we've got something lined up. So please do have a look at our adoptions page if you're in the market for a new best friend or a new family member. 1 second, sorry. Everything's alright on the radio?
Yeah, Christian's here bringing the stuff.
We've got stuff getting delivered, so the radios are popping off. They're
bringing the propane sound.
Oh yeah, we're getting our propane refilled. For those of you that don't know, we use propane to cook all of the rice. What are we at, 150 kg right now a day of rice?
No, we have it down to 70 because the dogs are not eating rice because it's too hot.
Okay, so the dogs have decided they don't really like the rice, so we've actually lowered down to 70 kg that we're cooking. That's 70 kg prior to cooking, before water and chicken, eggs, all that. But still, it's all cooked with propane gas. So, Susan Martin, hi Oriana. Peanut sends his love. I miss Peanut. Give him snuggles for me. So yeah, every day is something out here. We've got people coming and going, delivering stuff, delivering rice, delivering cooking fuel. We try really hard to be organized, and I had this great idea that we were just going to have like one delivery day a month, and then I realized that all of our deliveries can't fit in one vehicle, not even close. So, and then also there's just not enough hours in the day for 1 or 2 people to go get everything that we need for a whole month. So yeah, we have like 4 delivery days a month of stuff that needs to come in, plus impromptu purchases, when we have an odd order or something that needs to come up. Like we need to get more of the plastic water tubs and metal buckets, because when we build more kennels, feeding kennels, we don't ever put a dog in a kennel ever anywhere inside of the shelter without at least 2 water sources. Because if they knock their water bucket over, we want to make sure they have their plastic tub. And if for some reason they chew up their plastic tub, they need to have their water bucket. We still have people roaming through the shelter looking all the time, but it's too damn hot out here to risk one of the dogs not having water for even a brief amount of time. Dave Rogers, how have the repairs gone after the storm? They're going. I mean, our guys have been working like absolute maniacs. So prior to the storm, they were already knee-deep in a welding project inside of the shelter, and then they've been kind of tacking stuff together and fixing things as they go. And then today they're going to start on the shades for the pools outside, which really hoping that those go well and that they're done by the end of the week, because we've had an increase in fights outside due to all the dogs pressing in on the 2 pools that we do have with shade. So yeah, they're underway, but it's slow going. I came in today and they had a bunch of the shade fabric layered up and repaired, which was it was noticeable when I came in. Like, I was sweating a lot less. Previously I'd come in and I was getting sunburned under the ripped up shade. So yeah, it's coming along. The guys also were out doing special tasks. They had to flush our water tanks today. We have 3. Or how many liters per tank? 5,000?
I'd say about 7,500.
7,500 per tank, and there's 3 tanks. And then the water pump was getting bound up with like debris, because we're getting water from a well, like down the street, and then they bring it in, so it's not the purest water. So we had to have, it was kind of a big operation actually to coordinate with everyone to be here and ready to flush the tanks and to refill them at the exact same time. And the water truck guy had to make several trips to fill them. But yeah, we took the opportunity to also flush all the inside drains, trying to keep the smell under control here. Because as you can imagine, with 140, 150 dogs inside at any given time, the drains get a little stinky with all the hair and the urine and stuff that we're washing. Obviously, the poop we pick up and take out, but everything else has got to get washed. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to pop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer, or any topics you'd like me to talk about. We're trying to do at least one live a week where you guys have an opportunity to talk with us directly and in real time. I think is it still Eid today?
Yeah.
The holiday?
5
Yeah,
days.
so we're still,
5 days.
there's a 5-day holiday here for Eid. So everything's pretty much been closed. So that's held us up a little bit on our repairs because we can't get people to come out on the holidays. I think the fly on your hat has bonded with you. Yeah, no, we're gonna have to name him. He's decided he's my friend, he or she, and I shouldn't assume. But so yeah, we're having a little bit of a delay getting some of the donated funds in too to buy the metal and to buy the materials because of the Eid holiday, which is like a bank holiday here, so everything is shut. Also, there's I don't know exactly what's going on, but there's some drama in the region with the banking system too, so that's been kind of chaotic. Yeah. I wanted to say thank you while I have you guys on here for some of the things that came off of our wish list. Recently, we got several of the 500 ml bottles of vet lube donated, and we took that out with us when we went out to that other shelter, and they had to do all those TVT checks, and really we couldn't have gotten through the TVT checks without it. Like, it took such a large amount of it. And that stuff was absolutely brilliant. The dispenser on that bottle is good. And so yeah, the stuff that you guys are purchasing off of the wish list is really helpful. Susan Martin, how are the puppies you found last week doing? They're doing good. I think I threw something on as a story today, and then maybe on our TikTok. When I come in the morning, I try to say hi to the puppies and check in with them. They were all still there. They got vaccinated on the 6th, so on Friday. So fingers crossed that they got vaccinated in time and have some immunity maybe from their mom. It's always a race against time when new dogs get dropped off here, especially young ones. Because things like parvo and distemper are out in the soil, and there's just no cleaning it out here. So, also, I'll try and get some video on my way out, but because of the Eid holiday, it looks like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so disgusting outside in the street. Like, there's just sheep bits and animal carcasses just everywhere. This holiday is associated with, I think, like sacrificing like an animal, right? See, something like that. Like, yeah, it's a holiday about
Tributes.
or some sort of tribute or sacrifice. So everybody's slaughtering their sheep and stuff, but they dump the entrails and whatnot out here for the animals. But we're talking like smack dab in the center of the street, so there's just blood and animal guts everywhere. The dogs are loving it. We're not loving it because it's stinky and kind of horrifying to look at. What was I getting at? So yeah, the dogs are well fed outside right now. Like, they're really loving their life. It'll be pretty gross over the next few days when the smell increases because it's very, very hot. It's well over 40 degrees, and I think we're supposed to get really hot temperatures over the next week all throughout Iraq. They're also calling for high humidity too, which not my favorite. Let me pull open the wish list. I think we added some other stuff on there since I was talking about it and saying thank you. Someone had asked if we could send some toys over to that other shelter that we went to visit. I'm not going to give the name of the shelter because I don't want anybody to bother them. The shelter is in rough condition. I've seen worse, like we've seen worse out here. But they have about 100 dogs out there. They reached out to us to ask for help. So we treated 47 of their dogs for mange, and we had sent over a previous 30 mange treatments that had been administered. We're also going to start working with them to get a handful of the dogs at a time for spay and neuter. And then someone had asked if we could send toys over, and we absolutely can. If you guys send stuff over, just mark it, you know, that you want it sent over to the dogs at the other shelter. And then I'll add some toys. I try to keep them under 5 pounds when I add toys to the wish list. But also we've got some things I wanted to explain on here. We've got clear packing tape and then heavy duty pallet stretch. And these are things that we go through a ton of when Luis is packing all of your guys' donations and shipping them to Iraq. So they're not overly expensive, but we use so much of it that it does get to be kind of costly. So that's on the list. Also, we've got some cotton towels that we put through the autoclave so that the vets can dry their hands and still not break the sterile field for surgery. So those are on the wish list. Natural treats, some puppy toys. I see that a few of the high five, the running packs, the hydration and recovery packs were purchased off of here. Thank you so much for those. You guys have no idea how much they help. Like, you'll start getting a headache from the dehydration out here, and those hydration tablets start helping within minutes. I've also added some more of the raised beds. We still are using the ones that you guys have sent in previously, but it's nice to have brand new ones occasionally to pop out of the box and add when we have a new dog coming into quarantine. And they last a while, longer with some dogs than others. Sometimes we get a dog that just gets in there and digs and digs and digs, and then we have to put a wood top on it. We've also got syringes on there. We've still got one of the clipper blades on there. I've got a couple of cat houses and then just some slip leads on the Amazon wish list. Let me flip you guys around so you can see what I'm looking at, because I think it looks differently on your guys' side. So on my side, it actually shows how many have been purchased here. And then I can obviously edit descriptions and stuff like that. So we just, and I do update this pretty frequently with toys and other stuff that we might need. And Luis adds stuff on there as well. So, and then behind me, you can see where I store some of the stuff that you guys send in, and then I just stage it to where, because not everything stays in here or stays with us. So like a lot of cat supplies, we forward them on to people that are taking care of cat colonies, and also to the Cat Rescue Network of Kurdistan. So yeah, but the stuff gets staged in here. I mark it up, and sometimes we store overflow, but also I'll put things in here with people's names and stuff to where they can swing in and pick stuff up and take it out, because we are trying to make the biggest impact that we can in the region, which means allowing other people to be a part of what we do and to help. So like when I think we have a huge donation, I can't say where it came from, but we have a huge donation coming in of flea and tick treatments. And as those start arriving, I will be sending out to all of the local rescue groups and people that are treating the street dogs, so that we can get as many dogs as possible treated for ticks to combat CCHF and other tick-borne illnesses. That'll help protect the community, but also reduce the suffering for all of the community dogs. And with the amount that we're getting shipped in, I mean, it's substantial. So I think that with the right amount of hands on this, I think we could pretty much treat every street dog in the region. So we'll be sending some out to Dahuk, we'll be sending some to Baghdad, Basra, Kirkuk. We're going to be treating as many dogs. We're looking at tens of thousands if we can, that we're going to treat for fleas and ticks this year. So yeah, huge thank you to everyone involved in that. You know who you are, that helped arrange that donation of flea and tick treatments. I'm just waiting for it to arrive here now. What else do we have going on? I believe there was a fundraiser put up on that recent post where we show you guys the shelter that we went to visit. So our team did identify some dogs that needed humane euthanasia, and that was carried out. And then we'll be going back every so often to reevaluate the situation and to make sure that that no dogs are slipping through the cracks. Because sometimes caregivers mean well, but they miss stuff, or they get emotionally attached to the animals, and then it blinds them to the fact that the animal needs mercy, that's the appropriate thing to do. So we'll be following up on that and offering guidance and support as long as they will allow us to help. And we are always stretched pretty thin here, but we saw pictures and videos of what was going on, and when the owner of that shelter reached out, we couldn't in good conscience say no. So our vet team went out there and did everything they could. And we used the new car, the one that I mentioned that, remember that big match fund that we got? We used some money from that to buy a little 3-cylinder car that we really needed so that we could take dogs for x-rays, but also that way we can send our team out to other shelters and to community areas to treat animals out there. Over the next month or so, I've got kind of a plan in mind to send our vet team up to some of the farms in the surrounding area, not just to treat for fleas and ticks, but also to vaccinate if we can for rabies, and then try and convince the farmers in the surrounding area if they'll let us spay and neuter their dogs, because they are definitely contributing to our problems here. Hey T, Pishtiwan needs your attention outside. Sorry, I've got somebody waving at me from the window. So yeah, your guys' donations are not just supporting the dogs here at the shelter. They've got far-reaching consequences for the community at large. Like we are trying to pass it forward as much as possible. Sue Gibbs, thank you for all your care. Susan Martin, that's a great thing you did to help the other shelter. Yeah, it's helping other shelters, so it's rare that one actually reaches out to us and wants us to physically show up and look at the situation. We do get occasional people reaching out and wanting help, but they just want us to send money, or they want us to send materials, and they won't let us actually come look at the dogs, which we don't do that, because we're responsible for all the medication that we purchase with your guys' donation. Like, we have to make sure that that's being used responsibly. Lori, where are you located? Our shelter is it's outside of Erbil in the Kurdistan region of Iraq, northern Iraq. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so we don't do too much with other shelters unless they're actually willing to let us send our team in there to evaluate it. Because the last thing I want to do is send materials in and have somebody use them inappropriately or waste them, essentially. And I also don't want to ever send support to a shelter where they're not willing to make changes to improve the lives of the dogs. So yeah, and this shelter, the one that we went and helped, it does seem like they are very much open to improving their situation. So that's the only reason that we got involved with them. And because we couldn't say no when we were asked. Like, we saw the videos and the dogs were just in such bad condition. Sue Gibbs, working together means that you can help more. Absolutely. And we want to work with as many people as possible, but we want to balance that with working with people that have similar goals. We don't support animal hoarding, and we don't support anything where it's crossing into animal abuse in any way, shape, or form. So they need to be willing to listen to advice and work with us appropriately. Like we won't ever support somebody that's allowing animals to suffer and not taking advice. Susan Martin, how is your spay and neuter program going? It's going pretty good. We've gotten all of the dogs in the driveway that are friendly enough to be grabbed, and quite a few that were darted. Because it's super hot, we've been kind of shifting gears and going into helping cats. So we've been doing a lot of spay and neuter for cats. which is excellent. They need help too. And that's through partner programs. That's not like it's our program, but it's through partner, like Cat Rescue Network of Kurdistan, because we don't have the time or the ability to be trapping cats and bringing them in. Meryl, I hope your help with the other shelter will mean improvements for their dogs. Me too. I mean, already that's, 47 dogs that are going to be experiencing relief almost immediately from mange. Like those treatments start working pretty quickly. And that's thanks to WVS. They sent us enough treatments to where we can help other people. Without their help, there's no way we would be able to afford to treat as many dogs as we have. And we've treated hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dogs this year for mange. Some of you may remember the videos from the winter time. I haven't been doing any recently, but during the winter, every day on my way to and from work, I was stopping in the street and treating dogs for mange. Our team have been out in the driveway in the surrounding area like nonstop. And then we did pass out some of those treatments to other like local volunteers who have been out in the street treating as many dogs as they can. So, I mean, I definitely think our help will mean some improvements for that shelter. I'm hoping that they take on board some of our suggestions, and we will be following up on it. It's not something where we're just going to offer them help one time and then never follow back up. We will be touching base with them on a regular basis and making sure that they've implemented the stuff that we've identified that needs to be fixed. And of course, resources are an issue. Like, we know that it's an issue for them as much as it's an issue for us, that they're doing the best they can with the resources they have. What we do ask of people that want our help is that they are willing to humanely euthanize dogs that are suffering and cannot reasonably be treated, that they are willing to spay and neuter, and that they are willing to stop taking in more cases than they have resources for. If I see 50 dogs that are starving, I don't expect them to keep the gates open to new dogs to come in when they don't have enough food for the dogs that are there. So we want people to do it. I understand that not everyone will be able to do it to our standard, but I expect them to at least try if we're gonna help them out. Sue Gibbs, you're going about it the right way because you do put the animals first in these situations, yet we have to. And in the past, that has meant that we haven't been able to do as much as we'd like because we didn't have the resources for it. But you have to make the smart decisions. You have to make the hard decisions to say when, with your resources. More resources, human resources and financial resources mean we can do more, but sometimes people's hearts are a bit too big for the situation, and they overextend themselves. Meryl, it needs to be ongoing though, doesn't it? Otherwise it will mean they go back to how they were. So it's good that you're keeping contact with them. Yeah, no, it's going to have to be ongoing support. And that's the other thing, is when people reach out, we know the minute we get eyes on it that we take some ownership of the situation, which means that it could be a years-long commitment or longer, or lifetime commitment. So when people reach out to us, I hesitate, and we look into it pretty closely because, like I said, once we put hands on these animals, there's some ownership for us that we not just, oh, here's some food for today and a mange treatment, and then we're just gonna pretend like everything's hunky-dory after we leave and like these dogs are living in paradise. Like, knowing what I know from that other shelter, I'm going to be thinking about that every day, and worried about whether or not those dogs are getting what they need. Julie, yay, shout out for the cats who are helping too. Yeah, so we have done an incredible number of cat spay and neuters this year, and I believe, I'll have to double check with Luis, but I believe we got a grant so that we can do more. I don't think it was a huge grant, but it was a lot, like enough to where we can buy vaccines for cats. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I got a little bit of indigestion today. So the cat grant that we got, it's going to allow us to buy microchips, which previously we were just tipping the ears on the cats that we're spaying and neutering. But we also want to follow up with a microchip as well, so that way, just in case the same cat comes in again, that we've got some sort of record for that cat. And some of the rescue groups are bringing us back the same cats. You know, they're bringing them back for treatment or whatever. Meryl, you could never abandon them, I'm sure. We won't be able to. And so that's the other thing when people ask us for help, is that we have to make sure that we're ready to commit to long-term help. Which, I mean, flying by the seat of my pants here, guys. Like, you know, we've got one crisis after another happening here, and then there's always just something else coming up. So it's a little scary taking on any more jobs. What was I saying about the cats? Oh, so yeah, we already purchased, I believe, 300 of the microchips, but we've got more coming. And then we also used to only vaccinate the cats for rabies. We didn't have enough money to purchase all of the other vaccines for them. So we're going to be purchasing cat-specific vaccines and vaccinating and microchipping every cat that comes in for spay and neuter. So that's a big deal for us. I believe we're also purchasing some more cat wormer, and then I think we had a part of that donation, the one I was talking about, is also flea and tick treatments for the cats, which is great. I don't see so much mange with the cats, so I don't think that's as much of an issue, but flea and tick is, you know, something we should be focused on. So yep, we are going to be increasing our capacity and our efforts with the cats substantially in 2025 and 2026. Jane, you are all amazing. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we appreciate your guys' support. None of this is possible without you guys. Like, our efforts here on the ground mean absolutely nothing if we don't have materials to carry out these rescues and to carry out all of these missions. So your guys' support is integral in what we're doing here. Hold on one second. I've got someone coming in, so the dogs are going to bark. You can come in. Sorry, I'm just not alive, but you can come in. The dogs guard the office just like they would at home. You know, somebody new coming in and they're all excited about it. I think I might be getting a little bit of something, maybe a cold. Also, I've done a lot of yelling over the last week. With the fights we've had outside, we had some jerks, you know, tearing through our driveway at warp speed, and I went out there, you know, screaming at them like a crazy woman, and breathing in all of the filthy dust from out there. Oh, so things that we've got in the pipeline. We've got some stuff coming up. It's not set in stone yet, but we're looking to expand our training for vets. We had gotten a grant previously which allowed us to do a bit of training for local vets, but we are attempting to partner with some universities in Mosul and Kirkuk and Erbil, so that their students can apply, the best of their students can apply, and then we can interview them and then take them on for like an internship here, which will give us additional help at the shelter, but will also help us train as many vets as possible up to a good standard and then send them back out into the world to do their thing.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Meryl, yes, but you are the ones there and doing the caring and facing tremendous challenges, so you're all the heroes. We appreciate that, thank you. We appreciate the kind words, but we do, like, I can't overstate your guys' part in this. Also, without people to reach out to and to ask for help, like, I think that this would have broken our minds long ago, feeling alone out here. This has been quite the journey over the past 4 or 5 years, and you guys are a big part of that, and your support keeps us going. We appreciate all of the likes, shares, comments, all the engagement, and just knowing that you guys are there, you know, rooting for us makes a big deal. Makes a big difference. Makes a big deal. I can't talk today. It's about time for me to have lunch. My brain's starting to.
That's me every day.
Yeah, right. I posted a bunch of stories today that correlate to that shelter that we went out to, and probably over the next, like, there's hundreds and hundreds of pictures and videos, so I'll be throwing more of those on as stories so that you guys can have kind of a behind the scenes look at I don't know, what it looks like for us when we have to go out to places like that. And what the vets were doing, they were doing TBT checks for all of the dogs to see how much of the transmissible cancer was in that shelter, which was less than we thought, but still quite a lot. Oh, that rhymed. Look at me, little Dr. Seuss, Oriana Seuss. And then they did flea and tick treatments, mange treatments. They were scanning them for microchips just to make sure none of our dogs had accidentally been scooped up by other groups and then placed somewhere else. Because we're a bit territorial when it comes to our dogs that we've treated, dogs that we've taken under our wing. Like, once they're ours and they're microchipped, like, if I find them anywhere else, I'm bringing them back. Unless they're in a better spot, like unless they're with a family or something like that. Like, once they're ours for life until we find them a loving home. So yeah, trying to think. Oh, I haven't mentioned the lottery. For UK residents, if you guys haven't already joined a recurring, I think it's £10 a month, and you're in a drawing for. Calm down. Sorry, I keep losing the internet. I was saying about the lottery, so that's a way that you guys can support us long term. And yeah, I have no idea what the odds are of anyone winning. Like, it's gambling, and gamble responsibly, please. But if you're interested in signing up, that is a way to help us with some long-term support. Yep, and then of course donations can always be made through our website at www.warpaws.org. There's a donations tab, and then you can scroll down by country, and it gives you a bunch of different currencies and whatnot. But yeah, if you're not able to donate, then just sharing our post is helpful. Liking, commenting, engaging with us, voting for us on My Giving Circle. That's free to do. It's quick, and it helps us win money. And we've been really consistent over the last year. Like, we've taken, somewhere in the top 3 every round for the last year or so. So that's been a lot of extra resources for us, and we really appreciate it. It is 1 p.m. now here, so I'm going to let you guys go. I've got some stuff to button up, and then I'm going to go visit my nephew, who is starting on solid foods today, which is a big deal. So my little brother's tiny guy is, he's starting on solid foods, so I told them I'd stop by and say hello and give him a snuggle. Yep. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, guys. I know it was kind of an odd time for a live. And yep, thank you guys so much for all of your support, and Louise is posting the information for that lottery in the comments so that you guys can click on it. I'm sure she'll also pop the My Giving Circle link somewhere in the comments as well, to where people can vote if they haven't already. Susan, thank you for the update and your care. I have signed up for the lottery and share your posts and vote. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Love you guys. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you guys later.